Yes, it's early, but that doesn't mean we don't have some really strong opinions on prospects already. We'll share all of those and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings. Your daily podcast on the future stars of the NBA. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA Draft with No Ceilings. My name is Tyler Metcalf. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow draft analyst for the last decade, Tyler Rucker. Rucker, how are we doing?
Fantastic, Mr. Metcalf. As people are listening to this, we have 3 weeks until college basketball is back, baby. So I'm doing awesome. I'm excited for this episode. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, clock's ticking. We're getting there. So we're just going to share some strong opinions today, and have a little fun with it. Obviously, it's early, and these are subject and liable to change significantly because there's so much basketball left to be played. But we're going to run through some guys who we're really struggling with. We're going to go with a start, bench, sit kind of format here. We're each going to bring one guy to the table for each kind of classification of start, bench, cut. For cut, the guys we're struggling with, obviously, that we're willing to change our opinion on them, but a lot's going to need to be proven. Bench, we're just in wait and see mode, need to be a little patient. And start, we're all in. And we got to start with the excitement. We got to start on a high note with the guys that we're all in on. So, Rucker, who's the first guy you're number one for start?
This is one that I really am just starting to drink the Kool-Aid in a dangerous level as the season's approaching. One that I was a little high on before Metcalf, but not this. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's just one of those that wakes me up in the middle of the night and I'm like, yes, I'm ready to go. LeBaron Philon, Alabama guard. He's going to be a sophomore this year. A lot of people thought he could have been a top 25 pick last year. Around 6'4", 185, depending on who you believe, but listed around that on the Alabama team website. Shifty, good defender, love the on-ball stuff. And I think the offensive game is going to take a real big step this year. And it's just one of those guys, I think we're especially looking at the three-point shot. If it just can take a step forward at any type of level for me this year and looks consistent enough to be like respectable and something you can get excited about for the future, I think this is a top 10 pick. So LeBaron Philon's going to be my guy.
I love that. I especially since I considered him for my bench spot, because there does still need to be improvement with the shot. Now, if the shot doesn't come around and doesn't improve like we hope it will, how's that going to shift your excitement levels?
I think, it's in a weird way, I think I'd still get excited about it because I'd be like, well, some playoff team's going to convince themselves they can fix the shot. So it's just Philon. He does so many impressive things on the basketball court, especially last year as a freshman, that I think there's just hey, you see the NBA talent when it comes to either him in transition or his, deceleration ability and his ability to stop on a dime, make someone commit. And then all of a sudden he just blows by and makes him look foolish. I think there's a lot of really good stuff with his game in multiple areas, but it's just the one missing ingredient in the kitchen where you're like, oh man, if he could just stretch the floor and it looks a lot smoother and consistent. I think he knows that. And I think that's why, we're going to see a much improved shooter from outside this year, because it has just been that one missing piece of the puzzle with his game.
Yeah, and it was so much fun when he burst onto the scene last year, where it's like, oh my God, we were not expecting this. Like we were intrigued. There's some curiosity with him, and then he just took it to a whole new level with his rim pressure and his playmaking and just the physicality and strength that he played with, despite being a freshman. It's like, all right, so now after a full year and a full off season in the strength and conditioning program, having all of that experience, having the game slow down even more for him, it's like, all right, so the playmaking is probably going to take another step forward. The defense should hopefully take another step forward. And both of those were really, really impressive last year. If the shot can just get to average, man, he's going to be a lottery guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Metcalf, hit me. Who are you starting?
All right, mine is also a returning sophomore, North Carolina State shooting guard, Paul McNeil.
Ooh.
I'm in. I love this dude. And everything we're hearing about preseason stuff and practice and training camp, he looks incredible by all accounts. So McNeil finished last year having just like one of the best months in college basketball. Now, is some of that just getting on a hot streak? Maybe. Is part of it him not being on other team scouting reports at all because he was getting like 2 minutes a night for the previous 3 months? Also, maybe. I don't care though, because he looked awesome and it all looked really translatable. I buy the shot. It looks good, but the way that he operates off ball as an off ball creator, running off screens, empty side DHOs and second side pick and rolls, as that secondary facilitator, getting to his spots in the mid range, being able to pull up, knock down floaters, kick out to teammates, throw lobs, find cutters. I think he's really, really impressive. And then from a defensive standpoint, too, like he's not a lockdown defender, but he's really reliable, especially off ball. And the way that he was constantly communicating, making rotations, being proactive, and being where he needed to be when he needed to be there, despite getting like minimal minutes for the vast majority of the year, I thought was really, really impressive. So I'm hoping it carries over, and that last month was a sign of things to come and not an outlier. But everything I saw from McNeil to end last year, and everything we've heard about him over the summer, just makes me buy in even more.
Look, I think that's a great one because that's for those that are getting caught up. Paul McNeil is around 6'5", 185 ish.
Something like that.
You know, for everyone's gonna be like, well, why isn't he a legit prospect? And you go look at his stats, you'll be like, what in the world? I think he's around 4 points per game. But man, it's a new coaching staff. It's what you hear throughout the grapevine when it comes to the buzz about Paul McNeil this offseason of like the relentless work mentality and how much upside he has. And it is like, hey, you watch the film the second half of the year, like you were saying, Metcalf, that is a completely different player. And you see this could be one guy that we've seen so many times that just breaks out. And you that's the fun part about evaluating. You watch the film of the second half of the year and you're like, wait a second, I'm going to remember this for the whole offseason. This is going to carry over. I think it's going to for Paul McNeil. That's a great one.
What would he have to do in your eyes to like legitimately break into that top 10 conversation? Because he's right about there for me right now.
I think he's got to be north of, probably 15 a game. He's got to be kind of filling it up a little bit in each category. Comes to, rebounds, assists. You want to see if he's going to, I like the defensive motor. Like me and you have talked about it a lot, but I would want to see if that's going to all of a sudden turn into like, oh, he's got some lockdown stuff. He's got some playmaking. And then I think you got to shoot it from outside. So, I'm saying a top 10 guy is 15 a game. Yeah, it might not sound like much, but for a guy like Paul McNeil to go from what was he playing, Metcalf, like 8 to 10 minutes a game last year?
The season average may have ended up there, but I mean, he was at like 3 to 4 for the vast majority of it.
Going from that to, 15 a game is a humongous leap. And if you could do that efficiently, yeah, there's bundles of upside, but I think you just got to show that, you're going to be a two-way player. I think in that you can be consistent. And a big part with me is I want to see these guys get downhill and be able to, be a scorer inside the 3-point line. Yes, it's like, hey, I'm going to play a lot. Now I get to shoot all the time I want. But I think it's the in-between game for me with a lot of these guys. Like, let's see how you can play with pace, play with poise, make the defense collapse or, attack the basket and finish.
All right. Well, these are a couple guys that we're really, really excited about. After a quick break, we're going to dive into some that we're in a little more wait and see mode on. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. The swivel screen is a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. who are we sending to the bench? So these aren't guys that we're out on. We're intrigued, we're curious, but we need to see some improvements, and we're being patient and just kind of in wait and see mode. Who do you have?
You know, everyone's going to overreact to
Of course, yeah.
start bench cut, but this is our own version of start bench cut. It's like, hey, we're just being, patient. Fine, green light or green, yellow, red. We could change it to that stoplight. I'm going to go. This one's going to hurt some people. One that I'm struggling with. I want to buy in, but I'm waiting. I'm gonna be patient. Sarr for me. Gonna be a freshman wing at Duke. Believe he's around. I'm sorry, I'm just going off the top of my head. I believe he's around 6'8", 190, 6'7", 190,
something like that.
Okay.
In that ballpark.
Sorry, guys, I'm firing off. I'm trying to be better about giving heights and weights and all that fun stuff.
Duke has him at 6'8", 190.
Okay, looks like I'm on fire. I'm ready for draft season to start. So, Sarr is coming from overseas. He played in Italy, generated some buzz at Nike Hoop Summit, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, is he going to be declaring for the draft last year actually?" And be like, "Whoa, a late riser that we weren't expecting," or is this going to be someone that's pursuing the collegiate route? Shocker, Duke entered the picture, and Duke got him. And right now, Metcalf, it's just a wait and see prospect for me. It's one of those where I'm not going to get too overreaction to start the year. I think he's going to really help them defensively. I think he's going to be a really good piece on that side of the ball. But offensively, I'm going to be patient. I think keep it simple. Try to make him a 3-and-D maybe early. Let the in-between game develop with reps and experience. So Dame seems like a good guy that would be like, hey, we're cruising a little bit on this tune-up game. Maybe we get Dame out there to get some more playing time and get some run and put the ball in his hands, let him grow that way. But just one of those, like, hey, I'm not all the way in yet. Doesn't mean I can't get there, but we got some work to do with, film, scouting, evaluating, intel.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think I'm leaning a little more positive with him.
Yeah. I get it.
The tools are insane. And seeing him at Hoop Summit, I thought he was one of the most impressive guys there, both from an on-court and off-court perspective. And everything you heard about him was really, really impressive. And I love the fact that he bet on himself to go to that event and really try to kickstart his career. And just the passion, the work ethic, the work rate, all of that stuff was really impressive. And I think if he really continues to showcase that and keep those good habits up at Duke, I think he's going to improve really quickly. I think the trajectory of his development is going to be very steep upward, hopefully, because the tools are awesome. The question is, what is he offensively? And I get where that hesitation comes into play. Early in the season, I hope they experiment a little with having him run point and see, it's like, all right, can we actually get full-time point guard minutes out of him? Because then if you can, and you have him as your point of attack defender at 6'8", and your primary ball handler at 6'8", that's really fun because he can get downhill. He's a menace defensively. I buy the shot long-term. He's probably going to be a bad shooter this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the foundation and his attention to detail and a lot of the stuff that I saw him working on at Hoop Summit, like the intricacies of landing in the same spot every time and just being really consistent with the little things, I think is really encouraging for his long-term development.
Right on. Hit me with it. Who's your bench?
All right, I'm
sounds
benching.
so negative to people, but it's just like
it sounds really
bench,
harsh.
yellow, caution.
Just wait till segment 3. I'm benching Tahaad Pettiford.
Okay, a little spicy, but also
he's really fun.
It.
I love how he plays. He is a blast. He's also tiny, and he's also now going to be the guy at a major program whose coach just quit on them. I need to see what it looks like when he's really running the show and isn't surrounded by 25-year-olds, and has a little more freedom to dictate the offense. And what is that decision making going to consistently look like when he is, without a doubt, the guy? I hope it goes well. It could be really, really fun, and I hope that's what happens. But I still think there are a good amount of questions in terms of how real it is and what it looks like at the next level after Auburn.
He Todd Pettiford is someone that teams really like. They really like him in the NBA, but they also have no idea how this is going to work out.
Yeah.
He's 6'1.5". He measured in at the combine and shocked the daylights out of me that he was bigger than I thought he was going to be. I think he was 6'1.5" with a 6'5.5" wingspan, which I was like, those are fantastic numbers
Really encouraging
for Tahaad Pettiford. Now, the key phrase I said there was for Tahaad Pettiford. Those were great numbers. He's going to have to really take a nice step this year. I think this is a good bench for this segment. This is a good one because, man, you watch him, you love him.
It's so easy. Like if listeners have him as like a clear, obvious start, I get it. Because like when you watch him, it's tough not to fall in love with him. But
I was cautious.
I'm just trying to restrain myself in.
I was cautious all year last year.
Yeah.
The No Ceilings team was just firing off the Tahaad Pettiford love. And I was like, he's going to be a 6-foot guard that might be 5'11". I was like, okay. And then I did a film dive one night. And I was like, fine, enough's enough. I'm tired of these guys talking about it. I'm doing my Tahaad Pettiford film night. And I could have turned it off.
Yeah.
I was having so much fun because the dude just is a hooper.
Mm-hmm.
Knows how to play the game the right way. And then he gets lightning like hot from outside. And you're just like, oh my gosh. Every time it gets off court, you're just like, shoot it. Like,
right.
Because he's electrifying to watch. Some team will take a chance on him because they'll be like, if it works for us, or if it's going to work, it's going to work for us. There you go. Shows you how we're in preseason mode still. But
like the flip side of that is that he's playing off of Janiah Broome and
Dylan Cardwell
and was playing with other guys who were 24 years old, like Denver Jones and Chad Baker-Mazara and Dylan Cardwell. Like there was a lot of experience on there that were frankly ahead of Tahaad Pettiford on a lot of scouting reports for most of the year, rightly or wrongly. Not to take away from Todd's talent or anything like that, but when you go from number 5 on the scouting report to number 1, it's a big difference. And I'm really excited to see how he adjusts to it because it's going to be an adjustment.
For sure.
All right. Well, if you thought the bench label was harsh, just wait until we get to the next segment with cuts right after a quick break. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought. Monarch helps you notice inefficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from past jobs. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. Who are we cutting? Who are we? What fan base are we? Are we really pissing off today?
No, I don't want to piss them off. I'm struggling with
exactly
because I like the fan base, and boy, do I know how passionate you guys are. So I know you're gonna see this name and be like, "You son of a." I'm gonna go with Karter Knox. I'm
Yeah.
struggling with
Wow.
now.
He's
Look,
okay.
folks,
You hate Arkansas
I don't
basketball.
like to piss off the Arkansas faithful because you guys are so viciously fun and passionate, and I love it. I really like Karter. I have him as one of my top breakout candidates in college basketball this year. But man, I also feel like there's a path in which it doesn't take as big a leap as I think it's going to. So that's the one I'm struggling with because, the more I think about it, what if Karter doesn't take that offensive versatility leap that I'm thinking he's going to? What if, he's still kind of the same 3-point shooter? What if he doesn't take a big jump with the points per game? What if I just kind of still get the same year that we got in flashes last year? I think I'm just hoping that it really takes a gigantic step. And I also know, like, when you start thinking someone's going to just take this humongous leap, it's probably not going to happen. So what does it look like? And that's where I'm struggling at with right now. I'm trying to get realistic. And I'm like, okay, well, what if only one parts of his game improves?
Yeah.
Instead of me thinking, oh, all of a sudden it's going to be 4 parts at once. And it's just like, oh, he's magically unbelievable right away. It's not going to happen. So I'm trying to be realistic with just Karter Knox because me and you have talked about him before. When you look at him, when you watch him when he's, hitting shots, man, you can be like, this looks unbelievable. And then I still just think the skills have a little bit of ways to unlock.
My biggest issue is harsh. My biggest concern is like I need a little fu energy from
Yes,
him. Like
that's what I need. I need the alpha. I don't have that vibe ever right now.
no. And you like you just said, when he's making shots, he looks really good. When he's not, he disappears from a lot of games really, really quickly. And I want it to work because I loved the flashes from last year. I thought the defense was actually really encouraging as well. I love the tools, but like if you're going to be at Arkansas, if you're going to be a first rounder, you can't be disappearing from every other game. And that's kind of what he did. And I know it's just a pro day and preseason practice. But I kind of had similar vibes from him at that Arkansas pro day, whereas like I'm seeing Darius Acuff do stuff. I'm seeing DJ Wagner do stuff. I'm seeing Malik Thomas do stuff. And Karter had, 1 or 2 nice defensive plays, knocked down a 3, they like a couple things, but it's like, oh yeah, I had to keep reminding myself that he was out there. And that's my big concern.
Yeah, he's not there, but he's the Jeff Green mindset for me. Of like, gosh, I like him. I just wish there was another level of being like, oh, you're the guy. Be the guy. Like, I think Karter still has that super talented, but wants to make the right play, wants to be a good teammate, which is fine. But there's also a point where it's like, hey, you have these gifts. Go get a bucket. Have a little bit more of like, let me get mine. I think it'll come around. He's just got to be a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, that's the one I'm struggling with right now. And maybe it's overthinking heading into the year, but I do think it's just classic. Like,
but I think he's a really easy guy that you could overthink in the other direction and get in trouble with too. Though, where you're like, oh man, the tools and he'll shoot it. He'll for sure shoot it, and he'll get more, and then he doesn't. So that's a good one. All right,
hit me with it. Who do you not like at all?
I just absolutely loathe, totally despise. No, I really wanted to buy in on this guy last year, Miles Bird, and
That's a good one.
I'm just kind of at the point of like, you're really, really going to have to prove it to me before I start to buy back in a big way. I know how awesome the defensive playmaking numbers were. That's because he jumps at everything. That he also had 1 billion fouls a game. So yeah, love him as a shot blocker. Love him jumping passing lanes. Love him generating deflections. But I don't love him leaving his teammates out to dry when he misses on those. I don't love him getting blown past by simple shot fakes that guys are able to get to the rim because he's jumping into the third row. I don't love him jumping and then drawing 5 fouls in 20 minutes of gameplay. I don't love him not being able to make a jump shot. They're fun tools. I want it to work. I hope he has a really healthy year and it really comes back around to what we want it to be. But I think the perception and how a lot of people talked about him last year is a little more devoid and escaped from what reality is.
A guy that struggled to shoot it, that really struggled to shoot it when he wasn't good. It got ugly. And we've said this before. It's just Miles Bird's a guy that when he doesn't hit that 3-point shot, what else is he doing? And I don't mean it to sound blunt, but that's where I get to pretty quick. All right, what else are you doing? How else are you impacting the game? And I think that conversation gets narrow quick. Defense absolutely has some really special playmaking potential, some on-ball stuff, but like there's a path. There's an easier path for it to go the wrong direction, in my opinion, than for it to be like, oh my gosh, Miles Bird's unlocked this, because he's just old. He's older. He's gonna be a senior. So I think that's a great one. I'm struggling with that one too, because you watch him and you're like, man, there's tools, but you're also just like, it could get bad. It could get ugly. Now, he's still going to have a solid year. NBA team will give him a chance, but you're talking about a thinner wing that right now is very dependent on shooting from pretty deep. And it's not like he's Ray Allen from 3. So that's how he creates. He's going to need to be physical this year. He needs to showcase some creativity to get to other places to score on the basketball court, instead of just, handoff threes with the defender all over the place. Now he's just pulling up and shooting because he can't get by people. So I think it's a good one. Don't want to talk about it for 8 hours because I probably could, because Miles Bird is a tough evaluation. It's a really tough one.
Yeah. Well, he is Tyler Rucker. You can follow him at Tyler_Rucker. I'm Tyler Metcalf. You can follow me at Team Metcalf11. Thank you for making Locked On NBA Draft with No Ceilings your first listen every day. For your second listen, go find Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.